This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
I think we already know that, but thanks for letting us know again on this lovely Friday, January the 9th of 2026, because we needed to know that. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, some infiltration in Radio Big has never hurt anyone, that is for sure. So anyways, how have you been? How has the last 24 hours or so been? Because that always becomes one of those glamorous things, you know, because we all need to live that glamorous life. So how are things? How's the last, 24? Did you do anything cool? Were you excited today when you woke up? Because it was Friday. I always have that weird question about that. Because I always look at it and go, if you're having this great excitement that it's Friday, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. But we can leave that for a whole other conversation. Let's not get too crazy as we're getting into it right away. The other side of the equation is our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just really what our show consists of. So if you want to start talking right away about some of the things that are going on in your life and you want to share it with us, besides the caller portion that we do, callinradio.com. Callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, text messaging, it gives me some prompters on the screen letting me know that chaos ensues and that I need to do something. So if you're able to do that and you're wanting to do that, you're more than welcome to do that. Callinradio.com, audio, video, text messaging, as I already stated, and then we kind of move forward and then move again. It's not too late to whip it. Oh, okay, no, that's something else. That's something else. So if you're good with it, let's do that. So outside of that, I bring in some professional broadcasters. They start talking right away about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. That's some fun stuff. And then it's Freeform Friday, so we'll talk about all the junk we didn't get to earlier in the week, so don't worry about that. And we'll review a little bit of this, we'll review a little bit of that. The typical stuff. So there you go. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it. And I think it's the moment now that we do our weekend review. So let's do that right now.
Federal sources telling ABC News that federal agents have shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon a short time ago. The agents who shot, we are told, are with U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
The growing outrage and growing division in Minneapolis and across the country after a woman was killed by an ICE officer yesterday. There were protests across the city today and clashes with law enforcement.
For the first time ever, NASA is ending a mission early to medically evacuate an astronaut, bringing the 4-person crew 11 home early because of a medical situation involving one of them. Because of medical privacy rules, NASA won't identify the astronaut or the medical concern, but describes the astronaut as stable.
Today, 5 Republicans joined Democrats to advance a resolution to block Trump from using military force in Venezuela without congressional approval.
The now deposed president and former First Lady of Venezuela appeared today in federal court just 2 days after U.S. commandos snatched them from a compound in Caracas. The historic pictures coming in all day. Nicolas Maduro and Cilia Flores under heavy guard, clad in those blue jail shirts. And then once inside the court, they pleaded not guilty to all the charges against them.
After tearing down the East Wing of the White House to make way for President Trump's grand ballroom, tonight the president's architect revealing part of the historic West Wing may soon see changes too. A new second floor for, quote, symmetry.
Congress is back in session. The first order of business for Congress is to try to avoid another government shutdown at the end of this month. How are we already looking at another possible shutdown? The last one ended in November. Our government is running like the ice cream machine at McDonald's.
President Trump is now saying that he's very serious about taking over Greenland. Today, Trump was like, we're taking all the lands, Greenland, Legoland, Candyland, Judy Garland.
So there you go. That's the week in review on the things that are going on as it is clipped together and put together for your listening pleasure. That is for sure. So with that being said, I have my people from Feature Story News waiting to talk and tell you exactly what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news today. So if you're ready to do this, so am I.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. Storm Goretti has left more than 300,000 homes without power in France, with the north of the country worst hit, with all train services in the region of Normandy cancelled. And tens of thousands of homes are also without power in the UK after the storm dumped heavy snow along with strong winds. There's major disruption to train services, flights and roads, and hundreds of schools are closed. The weather is expected to improve into the weekend, but with effects from the storm still being felt for some days. Joe had to spend the night at Birmingham Airport where flights were suspended.
I think it was a bit chaotic at the beginning because the information was coming through in dribs and drabs. Some guys over there going to Thailand, they've heard nothing, haven't even had an email, so they're just sat here all night not knowing what to do. Fortunately, some people have been shipped off to hotels, but no, I mean, like, people are just, you know, you've got families here where the kids are just lying on the floor.
Meteorologist Steph Golter says while the storm moves past the UK, it will leave difficult conditions behind.
Slowly, all of that wintry mess is going to edge its way eastwards, but it's gradually now pulling away. And it is a real mess of rain, sleet and snow. And then the problem is the cold air's back. So then anything on the ground, all that rain, all the water that's on the ground, that's going to freeze.
Huge protests are continuing in Iran, with rights groups saying a complete internet shutdown has been imposed by the government. What began as demonstrations over the country's struggling economy has now become a wider movement against the country's clerical leadership. Protesters can be heard calling for the overthrow of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Ishan Garg reports.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi. Amnesty International says more than 20 people have died in the protests since December 31st, and concerns remain about further clashes between protesters and Iranian security forces.
European leaders are expected to approve a deal to create the biggest free trade area in the world between the EU and the 5 South American countries in the Mercosur group. The EU says the accord would progressively remove duties on almost all goods traded between the two blocs, but there has been staunch opposition to the deal in France, where farmers fear a market flooded with cheap meat from Argentina and Brazil. President Macron will vote against the deal, but a majority of other EU nations are likely to give the agreement the green light. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is due to travel to Paraguay next week to sign the deal. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the view of the former mayor of Minneapolis about the killing on Wednesday of one of the city's residents at the hands of an agent with ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Division of President Trump's government. Betsy Hodges served as the city's 47th mayor. She was in office from 2014 until 2018. Like the city's current mayor, Jacob Fry, she is completely rejecting President Trump's claim that Nicole Good, the 37-year-old victim of Wednesday's shooting, was a professional agitator who tried to ram ICE agents with her car. And the former mayor says the FBI cannot be trusted to carry out the investigation into the shooting without the involvement of Minnesota investigators.
Even debating the investigation of this incident, by debating was this a good thing to do or a bad thing to do or what happened, actually legitimizes the fact that ICE is there at all. Bringing a gun to a policy fight is perverse and it is civically corrosive. And it is exactly what the Trump administration is doing around immigration. They're just, it's part of their larger plan of how they want to run and rule and dictate the country.
Vice President J.D. Vance claimed on Thursday that Nicole Good, or that woman as he called her, was a lunatic fringe radical leftist who was trying to disrupt a legal law enforcement operation in a manner that justified her being fatally killed. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And the top stories once more. Storm Goretti has left more than 300,000 homes without power in France, with southwest England also badly hit by strong winds and rain. Huge protests are continuing in Iran, with rights groups saying a complete internet shutdown has been imposed by the government. And European leaders are expected to approve a deal to create the biggest free trade area in the world between the EU and 5 South American countries.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Ever catch yourself thinking, I could do this on my own? If you're a safety officer with real-world skills, you don't have to wait for permission to build your freedom. On Saturday, January 31st, I'm hosting Safety Consultant 101, a free live workshop. In 2 hours, I'll help you package your expertise into a service clients will pay for and set pricing boundaries so you don't get stuck doing free advice forever. Register now at safetyconsultant101.com. Let's build your freedom.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry Safety Transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, definitely sounds like some risky business on this lovely Friday as we are talking a little bit about this, a little bit about that, and a little bit about whatever is going on over there down yonder. Yeah, I did say down yonder because it felt like a cool thing to say at the time. Okay, so let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the, inside of the world, because I think that that's kind of what we do around here. So let me start off with this. Take a listen to this, and then you can give me a call in at callinradio.com. In a TikTok video, a woman kind of ranted about a male gynecologist. She wondered why they chose their path. And I have a clip, and so let's take a listen to this first.
Male gynecologists. What are we doing here, fellas? Why this path? Talk to me. I'm genuinely interested. Because it's already such a nerve-wracking experience. So vulnerable. I don't need Dr. Jeff down there, okay? Can anyone provide insight? I would love some.
Okay, so her question, is there a problem with men gynecologists? Ladies, do you have a problem with it? If you want to interact with that portion, you can callinradio.com. We'll definitely bring that in. I will tell you, I find these clips or somebody will send it in. I will play this for you, and then we kind of go, okay, what kind of path are we going down? I know. It gets very weirdo around here sometimes as we are talking about some of the stuff. But welcome to Freeform Friday. That's what we do. Okay, so take a listen to this. A West Virginia animal shelter learned the hard way that one of its dogs was operating on a higher intellectual setting. The Huntington Cabell Wayne Animal Shelter shared the security footage showing a dog named Dawson pulling off a full-blown jailbreak while the shelter was closed. In the video, Dawson calmly escapes his locked kennel, strolls out the front door, or to the front door, better saying, and stands on his highest leg and uses his mouth to unlock it, and then lets himself out, and then he forgot his wallet in the car. Okay, maybe that's not portion of it, but shelter's staff made it clear this was not AI, and even though it looked like something was cooked up by Hollywood, thankfully Dawson was later found safe and sound, proving that he wasn't running from danger, just from bedtime. So there you go. I got about 20 different things that we can say here, but Dawson didn't escape. He checked himself out. So I don't know. It becomes one of those interesting things. I was seeing so many animated movies recently because of having a younger child, but man, I didn't expect to hear this as a main news story. That's for sure. So take a listen to that one. Okay, so take a listen to this because we have to talk about it. And of course, WTF.
Welcome to Florida.
A Florida woman says a nightmare infestation caused her part of her foot, and now she's taking her former landlord to court. Patricia Shields, who lived in Grand Oaks apartment in Largo, has filed a negligence lawsuit claiming the complex ignored repeated complaints about spiders in her unit. According to Shields, those spiders bit her multiple times, often in the bathroom, leading to severe infections that ultimately infected the two of her toes having to be amputated. They say that the bites caused intense burning pain and terror, and the manager repeatedly brushed her off when reported the problem. Shields claims that the staff either dismissed her concerns or discarded evidence that she brought in when asked to be released from her lease due to safety concerns. She says that she was flatly told, no go on that. So Shields is now seeking more than $50,000 in damages, saying that the injury left her embarrassed, emotionally drained, and struggling to move with her life. She's on disability and says that housing options were limited after the previous home was flooded during Hurricane Helene, and that she's placed in Section 8 housing. The apartment complex denies responsibility, arguing that Shields claims that lack of specificity, being very specific about what she was looking for, and insisting that they are not liable for the injury. As the legal fight continues, Shields says that she just wants the ordeal to be over with so she can reclaim her life. Though the case adds to the growing concerns over serious spider bites, while they have made headlines overseas for causing life-threatening injuries. So there you go. I mean, what do you think here? I think it gets interesting. I mean, if you have a person that is living in one of your units and they're claiming that they have some level of infestation of when it comes to insects, you would think that it's something that you would be taking a looker in regards of what's going on and not saying, it's not true. It's not real. Now, I don't know exactly the whole thing, so let's do it.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's kind of go down south for a moment and talk a little bit about this one. Texas plastic surgeon is officially out of the operating room and into a serious legal trouble. Dr. Asul Jafar. Let's see, a 50-year-old plastic surgeon in Sugar Land, Texas, that's right on the outskirts of Houston, had a medical license temporarily suspended after regulators say that he performed surgeries while drunk, including a tummy tuck, breast augmentation, last August. According to the Texas Medical Board, staff reported that Jafar was unsteady on his feet and made inappropriate comments and had the breath that smelled strongly of alcohol while operating. One filing claims that he routinely treated patients while intoxicated, including during Botox injections, back-to-back surgeries. At one point, procedures were allegedly canceled because he was too impaired to operate. Clinics say that they have even found liquor bottles hidden in paper towel dispensers in the men's bathroom. Witnesses claim that Jafar stumbled towards the restroom shortly after one of the incidents. Jafar was arrested in December of 2022 and charged with performing surgery while intoxicated, a felony. Though he was released on a $5,000 bond, the medical board stepped in days later, saying that he posed a threat to public safety and yanked his license effective immediately. His criminal case is still pending and has been ordered to surrender his passport. Jafar is also facing civil lawsuit from a patient who claims that he assaulted her while she was recovering in surgery. That case is ongoing. I would like to know what they mean by, do they mean like assaulted in regards of like physically assaulting or sexually assaulting? I mean, I guess that can kind of run parallel in regards, or like how the YouTubers say SA because they don't want to be demonetized because of the AI that's looking at stuff, but I don't know. So the guy thought happy hour was a pre-op requirement. I don't know, is what it seems like to me. And when your surgeon says you won't feel a thing, but he already did, I mean, that's a different thing. And he wasn't board certified. He was bar certified is what it sounds like to me. And the only thing tighter than a tummy tuck was the liquor hiding spot. I mean, that's what it sounds like there. And turns out on the rocks is not a surgical technique. I mean, let's discover that. And nothing says professional like a flask in the bathroom dispenser. And also, this wasn't plastic surgery. It was craft cocktail medicine is definitely what it sounds like. We should definitely not be laughing at somebody else's expense. But, man, what a crazy time is what it sounds like. So I don't know. Some things to think about as we are talking. Okay, so let's continue going down the path here. Let's talk about this one. NASA is weighing in on a rare emergency, potentially bringing an astronaut home early from the International Space Station due to an unspecified medical issue involving one member of the Crew 11 mission. The space agency confirmed the affected astronaut is stable but declined to identify the individual or provide medical details citing privacy. NASA says that it is actively reviewing all options, including ending Crew 11's mission ahead of schedule in the plans to provide an update within 24 hours. As a precaution, NASA canceled planned spacewalk that was scheduled for yesterday. Station Commander Mike Fink, is what I think it is, and flight engineer Zena Cardman were set to perform a 6.5-hour mission outside of the station to install external hardware. The postponement came despite operations being completed earlier in the day. The crew consists of Zena Cardman, Mike Fink, Japanese astronaut Kimaya Yui, and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Plantonov. NASA says that NASA has not said whether the medical issue involves an astronaut scheduled for a spacewalk. While NASA has never evacuated an astronaut from the ISS for medical reasons, every mission includes return vehicles on standby for exactly this type of situation. Spacewalk delays themselves aren't unheard of. Fast missions have been scrubbed due to injuries or spacesuit problems, but the possibility of an early return is highly unusual. So there you go. So what do you think? Definitely gets interesting as we are talking. Let's continue going down this path real quick. The U.S. Senate advanced a war power resolution aimed to limiting President Trump's ability to launch further military action against Venezuela without Congress approval. The measure moved forward with a 52-47 vote, with all Democrats and 5 Republican senators breaking ranks to support it. This effort came after a controversial U.S. military operation that captured Venezuelan president, heightened concerns about executive outreach and potential expanded interventions. Under the resolution, further military attacks would require congressional authorization, pushing back against the broad authority presidents have exercised under the Constitution and the War Powers Act. However, the resolution is unlikely to become a law. Even if it clears the Senate, it would still need to pass the Republican-controlled House and would face probable presidential veto. So there you go. Okay, some other news real quick as we are trying to keep it
a little serious around here.
A federal agent shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon during a border patrol operation yesterday afternoon, just one day after the ICE officer fatally shot a mother of 3 in Minneapolis. An incident that already inflamed tension nationwide. According to the Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol agents attempted a targeted vehicle stop at 2:19 p.m. near Advent Health, Portland, as part of the operation in Oregon. The passenger was identified as a Venezuelan national, allegedly tied to the Tren Arguda gang and linked to the recent Portland shooting. The driver was also believed to have been gang affiliated. DHS says that when the agent identified themselves as the driver, used the vehicle as a weapon and tried to run them over, prompting an agent to fire a defensive shot. The car fled, but was later tracked to an apartment complex where a 33-year-old man and a 32-year-old woman were found with a gunshot wounds. The man shot twice in the arms and the woman once in the chest. Both were alive as the latest update. No agents were injured. The FBI is leading the investigation, and Portland police say that the situation remains very active. So there you go. What do you think about that one? Gets pretty interesting right away as we start getting into some of the nitty-gritty and some of the seriousness of some of the stuff that are going on around the country. That is for sure. Let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world. You want to hear something crazy? Let's go into this one. A New Jersey family game night went into completely off the rails when a friendly round of Uno allegedly turned violent. Police say that on December the 19th, a gathering at Clark Township erupted into a fight over a card game, spilling out of the apartment into the parking lot. By the time the officers arrived just after midnight, several cars were already speeding away. During the chaos, one person was stabbed and rushed to the hospital by a civilian. The injuries were non-life-threatening. Investigators later identified Darrell Busby, a 37-year-old Newark man, an Uber driver, as alleged attacker. He was arrested on Monday at assault with a weapons charges and is now being held at a Union County jail. His next court date is March the 4th. This is why Uno comes with wild cards, not switchblades. Somewhere Mattel just added warning: do not play with Uncle Daryl. It went from draw 4 to call 911 real fast. Family game night officially moved from felony Friday. Reverse card, Nat. This is escalation card. And it's all fun and games until someone plays the assault card. I mean, think about how crazy this is for a moment, and let's not kind of downplay this. You're telling me, if this is accurate information, of course, that somebody stabs somebody else over a damn Uno game? I mean, I play Uno quite often around here. And I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm just saying I play it quite often. And I have never been so pissed off during the game that I said, hey, you know what? I think I need to stab someone because they just defeated me for no reason whatsoever, and this is super important. You know how weird that sounds? I mean, just think about how weird that sounds in general. It's one of those things that I think when I say life can't get any stranger, somebody goes out there and proves me entirely wrong when it's all said and done. So I don't know. I look at it and I go, what are we getting into nowadays that it made sense that somebody said, yeah, I think I'm going to stab this guy because, well, the Uno game made me mad. It's just a weird one. It is definitely just a weird one when it's all said and done. Okay, let's continue talking about some other stuff. The internet cooked up a wild Stranger Thing conspiracy, and now the whole lot of people may be out to learn a very expensive lesson. A fan with a viral theory dubbed Conformity Gate claimed the Netflix series finale wasn't the real at all, and that viewers saw was actually a vision shown by Mike by Vecna, and the secret within the 9th episode was about to drop. Fan pointed out the supposed plot holes, visual clues, and even comparisons to the Truman Show as proof that there wasn't really over. Things escalated then. Believers became convinced that Netflix would reveal the hidden episode during its January 7 What's Next announcement. The reveal never happened. Netflix has also effectively debunked the theory, and the finale appears to be exactly that, the finale. But that's here. So here's where it gets painful. Fans didn't just theorize it. They also bet that it was real. On a crypto gambling site, Polymarket, more than $7 million was wagered on a secret episode dropping by the end of the day. If no episode appears by 11:59 p.m. Eastern time, that money disappears into a house pocket. Another $360,000 is riding on a release by January the 30th. Or 31st, better saying. Despite the odds sitting at a bleak 2%, comment sections are packed with people admitting that TikTok convinced them to gamble with posts like, I have never willing to throw away that much money before. I mean, I don't understand this. Like, you let somebody convince you that a show that said that it was over was not over, and then you bet on it. I think we definitely are starting to have a gambling issue, is definitely what it sounds like there, but what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some news right now from Feature Story News. Now, I think it might be the greatest time to do that, unless you tell me otherwise, that because we normally do our main story at 32 minutes past the hour, so let's just do some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
On Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. Storm Goretti has left more than 300,000 homes without power in France, with the north of the country worst hit, with all train services in the region of Normandy cancelled. And tens of thousands of homes are also without power in the UK after the storm dumped heavy snow along with strong winds. There's major disruption to train services, flights and roads, and hundreds of schools are closed. The weather is expected to improve into the weekend, but with effects from the storm still being felt for some days. Joe had to spend the night at Birmingham Airport where flights were suspended.
I think it was a bit chaotic at the beginning because the information was coming through in dribs and drabs. Some guys over there going to Thailand, they've heard nothing, haven't even had an email, so they're just sat here all night not knowing what to do. Fortunately, some people have been shipped off to hotels, but no, I mean, like, people are just, you know, you've got families here where the kids are just lying on the floor.
Meteorologist Steph Golter says while the storm moves past the UK, it will leave difficult conditions behind.
Slowly, all of that wintry mess is going to edge its way eastwards, but it's gradually now pulling away. And it is a real mess of rain, sleet and snow. And then the problem is the cold air's back. So then anything on the ground, all that rain, all the water that's on the ground, that's going to freeze.
Huge protests are continuing in Iran, with rights groups saying a complete internet shutdown has been imposed by the government. What began as demonstrations over the country's struggling economy has now become a wider movement against the country's clerical leadership. Protesters can be heard calling for the overthrow of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Ishan Garg reports.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader Reza Pahlavi. Amnesty International says more than 20 people have died in the protests since December 31st, and concerns remain about further clashes between protesters and Iranian security forces.
European leaders are expected to approve a deal to create the biggest free trade area in the world between the EU and the 5 South American countries in the Mercosur group. The EU says the accord would progressively remove duties on almost all goods traded between the two blocs, but there has been staunch opposition to the deal in France, where farmers fear a market flooded with cheap meat from Argentina and Brazil. President Macron will vote against the deal, but a majority of other EU nations are likely to give the agreement the green light. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is due to travel to Paraguay next week to sign the deal. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the view of the former mayor of Minneapolis about the killing on Wednesday of one of the city's residents at the hands of an agent with ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Division of President Trump's government. Betsy Hodges served as the city's 47th mayor. She was in office from 2014 until 2018. Like the city's current mayor, Jacob Fry, she is completely rejecting President Trump's claim that Nicole Good, the 37-year-old victim of Wednesday's shooting, was a professional agitator who tried to ram ICE agents with her car. And the former mayor says the FBI cannot be trusted to carry out the investigation into the shooting without the involvement of Minnesota investigators.
Even debating the investigation of this incident, by debating was this a good thing to do or a bad thing to do or what happened, actually legitimizes the fact that ICE is there at all. Bringing a gun to a policy fight is perverse and it is civically corrosive. And it is exactly what the Trump administration is doing around immigration. They're just, it's part of their larger plan of how they want to run and rule and dictate the country.
Vice President J.D. Vance claimed on Thursday that Nicole Good, or that woman as he called her, was a lunatic fringe radical leftist who was trying to disrupt a legal law enforcement operation in a manner that justified her being fatally killed. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And the top stories once more. Storm Goretti has left more than 300,000 homes without power in France, with southwest England also badly hit by strong winds and rain. Huge protests are continuing in Iran, with rights groups saying a complete internet shutdown has been imposed by the government. And European leaders are expected to approve a deal to create the biggest free trade area in the world between the EU and 5 South American countries.
You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month. and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Our station is so big that you don't have to do much to make it work for you. Radio Big.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, Since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I'll never get, and I tried to get it back, but it just slipped out of my hands, and now I'm spent. Doesn't matter how much I care, you forgot that I was there.
Okay, here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Freeform Friday. This right here that you're taking a listen to, this is Abby Jane, Lose a Friend. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of that multiverse, no doubt there. So there you go. So there you go, 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 go. Yeah, I would go ahead and give that a little spinner in her. A little bit more of the sensitive side of the Rated R Safety Show is what it sounds like there. There is no doubt. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends to write love on her arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com to write love on her arms. So a lot of stuff going on right there. I'm going to tell you, you can go to the website. It can change a lot of things for you. I don't say that jokingly. I say that as seriously as possible because there's so much good information there that I never know exactly what to do with all of it because it's so good that I go, okay, maybe at some point we can talk about some of the things that are going on. Not a joke, just one of those things because there's so much there. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world here. It is Friday, so we know we have to talk about it. If not, we would be missing an opportunity. This week, the new movies that are coming out, Greenland Part 2, Migration, starring Gerard Butler and Tommy Earl Jenkins. The movie synopsis is the surviving Garrity family must leave the safety of Greenland bunker and embark on a perilous journey across the decimated frozen wasteland of Europe to find a new home. This movie's PG-13 in theaters. Also coming out is Primate. A group of friends' tropical vacation turns into a terrifying primal tale of horror and survival. Movie is Rated R, comes out today. And last but not least, people we meet on vacation, starring Emily Bader, Tom Bleth, and Sarah Cook. Poppy wants to explore a world, and Alex prefers to stay home with the good books, but somehow they are the very best of friends. They live far apart, but for a decade, they have spent 1 week of summer vacation together. PG-13 streaming at Netflix, so there you go. Never even heard of it. I'm not going to lie here about anything. Never heard of that one. And it's streaming on Netflix today, so I guess it's one of those opportunities to take a listen if you may be so entitled to do so. Anyways, the Golden Globes are this weekend, in case you did not know that. Way too much to read, but I will give you some highlights real quick that are coming on. Best Motion Picture, their listing are up for, let's see, is Frankenstein, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I have to read this one because I think that this is the one that I'm kind of interested in because I want to know. Let's talk about best performance by a male actor in a motion picture. Here's the listing: Joel Edgerton, Oscar Isaacs, Dwayne Johnson, Michael B. Jordan, Wagner Moura, and Jeremy Allen White. So I think that those are going to be the things that we're going to need to be looking at the Golden Globes. I don't know who the favorite is, but I keep on reading that the sleeper is Dwayne Johnson. So that's also, for most people, known as The Rock, just in case. Anyways, let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring some Steve Smalls, listen to me, some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Andrew. J.R.R. Tolkien said, "All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost." This is an excerpt from J.R.R. Tolkien's book, The Fellowship of the Ring. Now, I need to admit, I've never read this book series, and I've never watched the movies. Are you mad? Sorry. Let's move forward, though. I do agree with the sentiment of today's quote. There are times when we see things a certain way, but in reality, they're not even close. Just because something feels like it's a good thing does not inherently make it a good thing. And the same is true the other way. Just because something seems like a bad thing does not itself make it bad. You need to look in each and every instance and think for yourself. Use your better judgment to decide for yourself.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
On the Rated R Safety Show.
Tension boiled over in Minneapolis after an immigration agent fatally shot a local woman, sparking protests and clashes with police near a federal building.
The officer fired during an encounter where officials claimed the driver tried to hit them with her car. City leaders disputed that account based on video and demanded a fair probe. State officials said federal agents blocked their access to evidence needed for charges. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Iran's foreign minister declared in Beirut that his nation desires no conflict with the United States or Israel, but stands fully prepared to strike back.
He arrived for a two-day visit to Lebanon amid heightened tensions from recent U.S. bombings of nuclear facilities and Israeli killings of top officials. Iran remains open to talks on its atomic program if based on equal terms without demands. Officials stressed that past attacks ended in defeat and vow readiness for all possibilities. Benjamin Wright reporting.
China blasted Japan's leader for comments hinting at military aid to Taiwan if Beijing acts aggressively. Joseph Eckerson reports.
The foreign ministry urged Tokyo to correct its errors and stop meddling in internal matters. Beijing imposed export curbs on items usable for defense and launched a probe into cheap chemical imports from Japan. A state group accused Japan of hiding nuclear goals and risking global stability.
This is the latest news headlines.
U.S. forces seized 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuela in bold ocean operations as President Trump outlined plans to sell the nation's crude.
The Navy captured 1 vessel in the North Atlantic and another in the Caribbean for breaking sanctions. Trump stated the U.S. would handle oil exports and ensure purchases of American goods with proceeds. Critics from Germany called the moves a values collapse, while polls showed split American views. Kyle Norris reporting.
States geared up for tough choices on health care and food aid programs after a major federal law shifted more costs their way.
Governors and lawmakers weighed options like work rules for medical coverage and handling extra administrative fees. Some areas planned to match tax breaks on tips, while others braced for cuts in benefits. Experts warned of rising uninsured rates and strained resources ahead. Jessica Oakley reporting.
President Trump stunned markets with surprise post barring big investors from buying family homes and capping defense firm pay until they speed up military deliveries.
Stocks tumbled as housing shares dropped sharply in
response to the housing limit aimed at easing prices. Defense companies faced bans on dividends and buybacks under the new rules. Investors reacted with concern over the sudden policy shifts from the White House. Liam White reporting.
The Senate pushed forward a measure to restrict President Trump's armed actions in Venezuela.
5 Republicans crossed lines to join Democrats in advancing the resolution for debate. Trump slammed the move as harmful to national security on social media. Lawmakers sought to reclaim control over military decisions in the region. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Oh, there you go. Here we are, 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's start talking right away about some stuff that happened back on this date. Back in 2007, Apple CEO at the time, Steve Jobs, announces the iPhone. So just in case you were not aware, today was the day back in 2007. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot is $199 million. Tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is $124 million. Let's talk about some other stuff. The Mike McDaniel era is over in Miami. The Dolphins have fired their fourth-year coach yesterday following a 7-10 campaign that did not include a playoff berth for the second straight season. The team announced after careful evaluation and extensive discussion since the season ended, I have made the decision that our organization is in need of a comprehensive change. I informed Mike McDaniel that this morning that he has been relieved of his duties as head coach. Dolphin owner Stephen Ross said in a statement. In some other news, President Trump is exploring exploring the construction of a second story of the White House West Wing colonnade to balance out the building's height with the future ballroom and other additions to the East Wing. The ballroom lead architect Shalom Baranes said that the White House is considering a modest one-story addition to the West Wing colonnade that would serve to restore the sense of symmetry with the East Wing, which would include an expanded two-story colonnade connecting the White House with the East Room to the ballroom. So there you go. Also, Representatives Ro Hanna and Thomas Massey asked the federal judge yesterday to appoint a special master to compel the release of Epstein files, which the Justice Department was legally bound to release full on December the 19th. President Trump signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which was co-sponsored by Massey and Kahn. Last year, the act created a hard deadline for the release of the files, while the DOJ met the releasing of only 12,285 documents. Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi said that her department needed more time to process and redact the 2 million remaining files. So there you go. For your information, it was on this day in 2007 that we already referenced, but I'll reference it again, that Steve Jobs introduced the first iPhone at Macworld Convention, with the actual public release and sale a few months later. The date would be June the 29th of 2007. So a lot of stuff going on back in that day. So there you go. So what do you think? Some stuff to think about. So there you go. If you need some weird facts for today, the sound that you hear when you crack your knuckles is actually the sound of nitrogen gas bubbles bursting. That's what that is. Also, here's some words of wisdom if you need them. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. That's what she said. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, this is going to end our show for today. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, you're more than welcome on doing that as we talk about the world of music and entertainment. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here on Safety FM with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. If I can't leave you with some advice for today, I would love to give you this one. Add a few lines of caulk to the back of your rug to prevent them from slipping. Think about that. You'll never know what exactly will happen. Okay, so that's it. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye, Zo.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.